Time's up. Have your own.
Here it comes.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
But we're told that we don't like any of this because we're misogynists. We just don't like this stuff because we're women. And the only reason we're unhappy about the Ray movie coming out, because, guys, did you hear the Ray movie was canceled and uncanceled? Did you hear that?
Dre, you heard that too, right?
I did hear it.
Wait,
I did hear it.
What did I do?
You said because we're women.
We hate it because we're women.
Okay. I said it. All right. Yeah, I see. Now Ariel just arrived, and she's going to make sure that I remember that.
Yes, we didn't want it to come out like this, but Adam is in fact trans. He's coming out of the closet. Him and Dermy are in a relationship. It's time.
It's still there.
I didn't say that.
Adam, you being Worf is cultural appropriation. I won't.
Cultural appropriate my dick. I don't care. I will have earned my riches and my surly attitude by the time we get there.
If I were going to culturally appropriate your dick, you'd have to go get that surgery. To get
Good Lord, here we go.
Yeah.
I am dumping unlimited power into you.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores.
Liar! No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome back to another roundtable where we're going to go over the week's events in our own special way because we're special over here. I am pleased to see that we're all here today. We're all here. We've made it back from our various adventures, and we got a good one for you guys today, I think. It's been a very interesting week with combined odd stories and continuing stories that we predicted we'd come back to this weekend. So let's go around, say hi to everybody, and get started because we got some doozies. Jed, welcome back.
Hey, it's great to be here. For those of you who don't know, I unfortunately had to take last week off because I was actually going on a vacation because I got engaged about a week and a half ago now. So I was taking a little trip to celebrate that, and that's why I was absent last week. So, of course, I'm in a great mood, and I'm excited to be back because at least, if nothing else, the Doctor Who stuff is absolutely glorious right now. I've spared myself the grief of watching that episode. I actually took, I believe it was Shudigatwa's advice. He said, if you don't like the show, if you're not okay with the wokeness of it, go touch grass. Well, I went and touched grass in North Dakota, which means I only have 2 states left to touch grass in to have all 50 states. That's my thing is I touch grass. That's how I count a state. And I'm only 2 states away from being in all 50 states. So I'm taking this to the next level, Shooty. What you going to do about it?
Well, I didn't touch grass. I watched it horribly. It's bad. We're gonna talk a little bit about it, and I will give you my overall feeling is just it was god awful. It really was. That Jinx Monsoon episode. I didn't know that was going to be one of the episodes yesterday. Oh, Jed. Jinx Monsoon is nightmare fuel. He really is nightmare fuel. We'll get into it a little bit. And if you want to see more of it, there's the full review that Dermy and I did yesterday. And I will be re-editing that into a couple different videos concerning each show. But Dre, how you doing? You doing all right? You doing okay?
It's a wonderful day. It is. So I've had a very busy week. I literally just got back in town like an hour ago from North Carolina.
That's commitment, folks. That is commitment. He's here. He just got home.
Yep, just got back in town from a family reunion in North Carolina. So that was colorific. But
I can read between the lines. Can you?
yeah, but it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm launching a new gaming channel. It's a
Oh,
lot of stuff in there.
sweet. Yeah,
So
that's the way to do. Separate that algorithm.
yeah,
Do it.
yeah. So I'm
Run it.
actually been working on that this afternoon. I've had a solid week. My mouth is working even better than it was before. For those who know, no, it's been solid. It's been solid week. So I'm no complaints here. No complaints.
Okay, and Dragon Lady, welcome back to you as well.
I'm doing all right. It's actually quite hot over here at the moment, so if I end up disappearing
That's
for
a
a little
lie.
bit,
It
I'll
doesn't
probably...
get hot in England. That's a lie.
Oh,
Yeah,
it does.
what is
It does.
it?
We're in-
78 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's around about 20, it was 23 degrees Celsius yesterday. So
Listen, I
if I end
don't,
up-
I don't need your alien temperature over here.
It's quite hot, basically. If I end up disappearing, I've got to get ice cream or a drink of water.
Adam, I looked that up. That's 73 degrees Fahrenheit.
What?
Yeah.
I sleep at 73 degrees.
My house is set to 77 right now.
I mean, right now it's 75 in here. It's a little hotter in this
Well,
room.
I
We got all
don't-
the
I don't-
electronics, but
I don't do very well in heat, so
I'm colored, so you know if it ain't 85, I'm not happy. So
Yeah.
right. So we are here ready to have some fun. And we got a good one for you. As we already alluded to, we're going to talk about the disaster that is Disney's Doctor Who. And I mean, Jed, they called it in promotion season 1, but when I went to find it, they're calling it season 14. So I don't even know what to call it. I'm just calling it Doctor Who in the episode
Where
title.
did you see season 14?
When I found it, when Captain Jack
Oh, well,
gave
that's
it to me.
whoever did it on the Captain Jack site doing it incorrectly. It is season 1, not series 1 like it should be. British shows do series instead of seasons. It should be series 14 or series 1, but it is an American show now, so that's why it's season 1. So season 1 is the correct moniker. It is a full reboot. That's why.
Yeah, I
brand new Doctor. It is.
I wasn't even sure how to do it, so I just like the Doctor Who
confused.
and the horrible episode titles. That seems to be working just fine because nobody wants to acknowledge that it exists in any way, shape, or form. Doctor Who.
Oh,
so we got
no,
that.
it does.
We got some great stories surrounding that. Then last week we talked Helldivers 2 and the controversies were going on, and then a few short hours later, half the controversy was resolved as we thought it might sort of maybe not be. Listen, we were on record. We didn't think anything was going to happen. And then midnight Sunday, shit did change. But the story goes on because it isn't complete. So we're going to talk about that and we're going to delve into what's going on and are the reactions we're getting from everybody sufficient? Is it really changing? Are we really winning or not winning? And how do we approach this? And as now this week, last week we had Dermy as our voice of somebody playing it, and Jed, you play it, so you can kind of be our voice of somebody who's playing it this week. Then we also got the really strange announcement of a Gollum movie from Warner Brothers Discovery, bringing back Peter Jackson, his whole team, and Andy Serkis. So,
Warner Brothers did say they were going to start making Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings movies again.
Yeah, but I scratch my head. Why? This one makes no sense. And I will bring into a little discussions we had on Friday, and I'll throw out the Dermy point of view because Dermy had a unique one, and we beat him up over it, but he had a unique one all the same. And then if we have time, Disney had a collapse this week, a complete and total economic collapse. The stock plummeted, and they lost billions of dollars. And Bob Iger, well, he sounded like the moron he always does, saying the same damn things over and over. So we have time. We'll get to that and maybe a couple other things. But either way, hail and howdy to the chat. We are happy to have you guys here. We appreciate each and every one of you. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channels below, and we'll say hi to you and get going. Hail, Legatus Legionist. And good Sir Algrim the Strong, my mods, my regulars, here to keep the peace. And Legatus will troll me no matter what I do. He's gonna do it. I can't stop him. He hurts my feelings every time, but he doesn't care. Let's see. Hail, Static. How are you? Hail to Ruben X. Yeah, we're all crimers around here. Crimers. That's still funny. But the game is great. Stellar Blade is a lot of fun. I think I'm about 65, 66% through it. I thought I beat it this week, but I kind of ran out of time playing it. Hail to you, Jaden Hampton. Good afternoon, Kale. How are you? Hail, Frank Blaskowitz. Yeah, the Gollum movie, we're going to talk about that. And hail everybody else just watching, not chatting. We're happy to have you here. We hope you enjoy the rest of the show live or on the replay. Okay. Doctor Who. R.I.P. Doctor Who has never been more apparent. Jed, you saw the 60th. You made me watch the 60th, which is why I decided to review all this garbage. And then I watched the Christmas special. You did you? I don't remember. Did you watch?
I did end up watching it, but I didn't review it or anything.
Yeah. See that I went full into the review, and that's what
was so bad.
And here's the thing. So you saw that we got the first taste of Shooty in the 60th. Then he had his premiere episode with the 60th where he got Snowman, and the things we complained about in that one, we tried to be fair. It's like, oh, he's doing this. He's a new doctor. Oh, it's a different this and that. Oh, maybe the crying. Maybe it's a situational thing. Jed.
It's the same thing that happened with Jodie Whittaker. When her first episode came, she was insane and not likable at all. And the people still defending were like, oh, but it's her first regeneration episode. So nothing is certain. Nothing is absolute. This isn't who it's going to be.
Yeah.
But it's not.
We tried to be objective. We still try to be objective.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
We criticized what we saw as bad. It was like, all right, we're probably going to still criticize it, but let's see how it plays out going on.
Hopefully it normalizes out.
No, it didn't. It didn't. Shooty Gatwa, cosplaying the Doctor, still runs away from everything. He's always running. He never actually solves any of the problems. He sort of sets up at least one solution in the second one, Devil's Court, but other people save the day. He got saved by babies holding a flamethrower, Jed.
Was that before or after they used farts to move their ship?
That's before. You have to understand.
Yes. Super smart alien babies, Dre. Owning a baby farm using farts to propel spaceships.
So look, I grew up during the crack epidemic. Okay, even that sounds crazy to me.
Do you feel do you feel better that the captain, these babies were modified? They're 6 years old, but they look like infants and still rolling around in automated strollers, and they talk like we do. Hi, mommy. Hi, daddy. And the lips were moving in a weird CGI. It was really creepy. Yeah,
very.
Oh, so they're like actual babies with CGI
actual
mouths.
Babies with what they used to do to animals and.
Oh, you mean like back in the day during what was that movie? Guess Who's Talking? Like that crap?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Back then the lips just moved. Now it's digital to try and mimic human lip pronunciation.
They already had talking babies in the show, and they did so well with the Matt Smith episode with James Corden, where his baby wanted to be called Stormageddon, the Dark Lord of All. That was a great episode.
James Corden aside, that is a great episode. Yes,
it's the only role I've ever liked him in is those two episodes of Doctor Who.
So, but you have but the base and of course the captain was a little beautiful black baby girl. She was the captain.
Of course.
But
probably already trans or something, already gay.
I don't know. They all needed hugs. Anyway, he got saved by babies, and then I don't want to go into a full review. I've already done it. I'm going to re-edit it later. They're fighting a literal booger monster. It's a literal booger monster made of snot and baby bogies, as they would say. They call him the bogey man. They save it for no apparent reason. At the same time, but like you mentioned, the ship or the station wasn't moving because the toilet was clogged, essentially. That 6 years worth of baby diapers full of shit had clogged up the trash thing, and he gets it to move at the end by literally having the ship do a giant fart and propel itself. Literally, you see it. It's a giant gas fart cloud.
I've seen that clip.
It's retarded, and it's.
Are you sure this is Doctor Who we're on about?
No, it's not Doctor Who. That's the point. It's not.
That's why I was asking.
It's Shooty Gatwa cosplaying the Doctor. And it was all kinds of ridiculous. That first episode made no sense at all. Illogical stuff. I point all out. None of it was good. And there was some messaging in there. Here's the thing. Both episodes, while there was agenda messaging, it wasn't as in your face and blunt as we expected it to be, but it was still there. But most of the problems, and Jed, if you ever watch it, you'll agree, the writing is terrible. We now must call into question RTD's overall talent and legacy. Did he write all the good Doctor Who back in the day? Because this is shit.
the best episodes of his era were written by other people, specifically Stephen Moffat. Like the Stephen Moffat Davies era episodes are heralded even to this day as some of the best episodes of the show ever. And of course, we have to give Russell credit for the great episodes he did, because he also did some really great ones, especially season finales and whatnot. But
how much was it him and how much was it others? Is like
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there right now, because if
It
he
has to
wrote
be
these
questioned.
episodes, the dialogue is garbage. It
oh, did you hear
stinks.
his quote about the writers' room this
No.
week?
No,
He
I
said, he's,
I
he's
think I did, yeah.
determined to make the next season's writers' room more diverse than the current season. He wrote 6 of the 8 episodes. So being more diverse just means not him.
Oh,
so he's
God.
bragging about how diverse and how DEI minded he's going to be for the next season, when it just means anybody but him's going to work on it.
Well, I don't know how it can get much worse, because you think about it. You know how they mentioned, and by they I mean Shooty Gatwa and Millie Gibson, who has great tits, by the way, and how they talked about the fact that their relationship was going to be like two school teenager girls, high school girls chatting all the time. It really is that. They yammer at each other at high speed. When one of them is suffering, the other one is laughing. At one point, Millie Gibson is covered in boogers and snot, and Shooty's going, he's laughing. The doctor is laughing like that. And I posed it to Dermy yesterday, and I had all the real doctors on my screen behind me, and I said, do you see any of these doctors possibly behaving like this? No.
Well, we actually have a great comparison to that scene. If you remember the second episode of the Matt Smith era, The Beast Below, when Amy and him are on the Star Whale.
Yes.
They fall down into the Star Whale's mouth and get covered with its saliva, right? And Amy's freaking out because she's covered in this slimy material, and the doctor's just focused on solving the problem, and he's trying not to tell her what's wrong because she's going to freak out. He's trying to avoid saying, we're in a great big mouth right now. Like, he's thinking about her mental state right now, because this is a messed up situation. That's what the doctor would do. He wouldn't just break down, point at her like, oh, you're snotty.
Or later on, further on down the Matt Smith, Dermy and I said maybe he'd make a little snide comment later on when he's further into his role,
more
just
cynical,
like a snide comment, a sarcastic joke, but not clapping. Shooty is literally clapping and laughing, ha ha ha, while she's suffering in snot. And later on in the second episode, Devil's Cord, when they go back to the 60s, Jed, once more, you understand, because you're a better Whovian than I am. Every time the Doctor and companions, unless it's a special undercover episode, which we can say they once in a blue moon did, when you go into an era, it doesn't matter what they're wearing. It's what they're wearing.
Yeah,
Doctor
for the most part, the companions occasionally change, but the Doctor never does. Like,
they decide to go to 1963, and suddenly, oh my God, we have to change our clothes. We have to dress up. And they're both giddy and happy and yammering.
It's a fake afro.
I had people point out that the afro was about 7 years too early. That afro didn't exist in the 60s. I had somebody point out that her hairstyle was about 3 years too early.
Oh, yeah. They don't care about anachronisms. Like the show, it's always been a little bit rough with the past episodes, but it always tried. I can't say that this show even tries to be historically accurate.
Overall, though, they had this take place in 1963, and apparently we were calling it the music master. No, Jinx Monsoon's character was the maestro, another celestial being, a child of the toy maker, a progeny of the toy maker.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there was some pronoun bullshit in there in the beginning. Jinx Monsoon is a nightmare for you. You've seen all the screen caps. We're gonna get memes for that forever right now.
Oh, I've seen some of the clips too, like when the pronoun thing happened with what was it, Tim Drake?
I don't know.
I'd never heard of that composer, but Maestro
was.
said, you're the greatest composer ever, and it looked like a woman pretending to be a man. I don't know if that actor was trans, but it looked very trans to me.
I think it was a dude.
Was it a dude? But he said the pronoun thing and then booty bumped a 10-year-old.
Yeah. The 10-year-old was a copy of him. It was sent in there to hold. It's horrible. But during that point in time, long story short, the maestro was stealing music because the maestro just wants to hear Aeolian sounds for eternity. Doesn't want to hear any other thing, and kill and humanity is going to destroy itself because there's no music. Now that it takes place in 1963. At one point, Shooty Gatwa says, "I'm here right now because I've been here since 1962." That means they were in London when David Hartnell was there.
William
Hart. Sorry, I said William Hart. Sorry, I don't know why I said David. I got too many names in my head.
But yeah,
the
timeline. I mean, 1963 is when he was there.
Yeah, but he said I've been here 62. That means though this fight against the Maestro took place there when the actual doctor is there, and that means the actual doctor did fuck all, not noticing shit was going down, and at the same time, and I said this last night, and I'd like you to confirm it. Shouldn't that be a fixed point in time where he can't go?
When he in 1963, you're saying with
where the doctor shouldn't
picks up William and what's his bucket? The teachers.
Yeah, when
I don't know if that
would
would
be able to go there.
I wouldn't count that as a fixed point in time. I would count him stealing the TARDIS just because of how pivotal that is. But necessarily going to Earth the first time, I wouldn't say that is.
I just felt
if
wrong.
it is all of his timeline should be.
Well, Dermy countered that because of the bi-regeneration that they all.
He's not the same doctor.
They're all definitions that they all exist at the same time now. That bullshit.
I was saying it doesn't. It sounds like they tried to pretend. Oh, it didn't start in 1963. Hang on a minute.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's they break all kinds of rules.
Frank in the chat. Fixed points in time has existed far before Amy and Rory. That storyline. I mean, there's a great Pompeii episode about fixed points in time with David Tennant. So yeah, that wasn't created for that. But
I just felt like you're shitting on the real doctor by doing that, and we know that RTD's doing it. Either way, the whole thing was a disaster.
And the fourth wall break.
Oh, there were 4 or 5 fourth wall breaks in the.
I only know the one where he winked at the camera at the beginning.
Oh
of Devil's Core.
No! Jinx Monsoon breaks the fourth wall at least 3 times. At least 3 times, looks right in the camera, and Shooty does it once. It was ridiculous. And then after he doesn't save the day, and the Beatles, John Lennon and Paul McCartney actually save the day, while he and Millie Gibson are trapped in instruments and can't get out. It's just trapped, can't get out. He lost. They almost gave him a doctor moment where he's figuring out the chord to rebanish the Maestro, and he gets 5 of the 6 notes to get it, and then he flubs the last one. It's like, and he's talking about, it's almost Doc Moore saying, I understand loss. I've seen so much. Of course, he hasn't. This guy's a clone. He's been alive for a minute, and he's riding around in a dollar store version of the TARDIS. But he's talking about all this. It's like, okay, you're given an almost doctor speech, talking about, and then you flub it so that you can lose and have Paul McCartney and John Lennon come together to give the double note. It's not a single note, a double note to seal the Maestro. But then when it's all said and done and music is back, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the episode is just a musical number for no reason.
Of course it is.
No reason. Thank you. What the hell? Ridiculous. But that leads to this right now. Yesterday night, before this happened, Static, who was in the chat, alerted me to this. Oh no, that's wrong article. Hang on, sorry, wrong one.
Is it the straight white men one?
Yeah, I got it right here. I just clicked on the wrong one. He alerted me to this, that Shooty Katwa comes out and says, or the Metro, and generally you were saying this is a worthless rag in England. Sorry, straight white men, Doctor Who was never made for you. Really?
Which goes directly against what Jodie Whittaker said when she took on the role. She said, Doctor Who has always been about the straight white man gaze, and I'm changing that. So, gotta get your woke story straight.
Yeah. From the moment I saw Shooty Gatwa dancing the night away in a bright outfit in the gay club, I knew it would fall in love with this iteration of the Doctor. Now, everyone was excited by such an unapologetically queer Black Doctor Who, though. Vocal contingent keyboard warriors took to social media to claim how the show had gone woke. It's not so much woke, it's just bad. It's just
really bad,
terribly written and terribly acted. That's the thing. There is agenda. There is all kinds of crap in there. Millie Gibson is the girl who literally is the key to everything. She's connected to the oldest of the old gods, apparently. But it's just bad. We're not yelling at. No, it's going to get worse. They're going to keep injecting stuff in there, but it's just bad. So for them to say something like this and complain about us, oh, you're not wide enough, blah, blah, blah. And then this person cowardly deleted their Twitter account this morning after getting roasted over the coals.
Well, can you say this person's name?
Where? Let me see. Is it up here?
Yep.
I'm not seeing it. Entertainment Reporter? Wait.
No, right above that. That's the name.
Oh. Oh, wow.
That's why I had you do it.
I'm going to try this. Get ready with those cancel buttons. Asia. I want to say Ifrit, but I can't because I'm a Final Fantasy guy. Iftikhar. Well, she should get Iftikhar in the ear. She should get Iftikhar in the ear for all I care. I don't know. This thing, and by thing I say Doctor Who, Shooty Gatwa. Jed, give me the numbers. Give me those numbers.
All right.
We got the overnights, finally, at least from the BBC.
Yeah, we got the BBC ones, which are so just the UK numbers. We're not going to get the Disney Plus ones until if ever. But the only way that we could possibly get them is in a month from now when the Nielsen's come out, and if they're in the top 10. If they're not in the top 10, we're not going to get them, and I don't think they will be because of how bad these numbers are. I just want to do a little prelude because Adam hasn't seen these numbers, so doing a little bit of prep here. So before Jodie Whittaker's era, the lowest overnight figure for Doctor Who, if you want to pull up my screen,
I was waiting for the cube to pull up now.
Was for Battlefield, which is a episode from Sylvester McCoy, one of the last episodes of Classic Who, right before it was getting canceled. Battlefield is a big reason why Classic Who was canceled. That was at 3.1 million. And then Legend of the Sea Devils, Jodie Whittaker's second to last episode, got 2.2 million overnight, getting so much lower than the Classic Who overnight minimum. And I just want to do a little bit of prep on this too. So the whatchamacallit, here, let's do this one first. The season that Legend of the Sea Devils is from is this one right here. This is season 13, and it started out by 4.4. So it had to dip by half to get to that low. So in a season, it dipped by half. We're almost there. We're getting there. And the 60th anniversary specials, which we were told were some of the great numbers. Like, these are great numbers, even though we all knew they were terrible.
Oh, they fudged those hard.
These are the 60th anniversary overnight specials ratings. We've got 5 million and then 4 millions after that. Are you ready to see where we're at the beginning? The beginning, not the end of the Shooty Gatwa's first season, at the very beginning.
Yeah. Okay, go.
We are at 2.6 and 2.4 million. We are 200,000 away from the lowest rated episode overnight of Doctor Who in its entire history at the beginning of a season. What are we going to look like when we get down to...
It's going to be sub 1 million, dude. But in 6 weeks, it's going to be sub 1 million.
I think so, because the ratings for this have been abysmal. No one's talking about it. It's not trending. Even the Jodie Whittaker
RP Doctor Who is trending. That's what's trending.
That one is absolutely trending. But like, no one's talking about it, and there's not positive reviews. I didn't pull up the Rotten Tomato score, but that's terrible right now from the audience perspective. The critics, of course, gave it like a 90% or something crazy.
Oh, they were creaming their pants for 3 days before this came out.
Absolutely. But with all that in mind, this is only the beginning of a downtrend. And that's what we said when the 60th anniversary numbers were coming out. It's like, yes, these are bad, but it's only going to get worse. And you had people in your comments. I had people in my comments who were like, no, why would you assume things are going to get down? Look, the Christmas special is a slight increase from the 60th anniversary actual episode. So Shooty's going to get better and better. No, we're at some of the lowest in Doctor Who history. The bottom 2 out of the 3 lowest rated episodes in Doctor Who history is what we're looking at right now. And it's only going to get worse. And of course, the Disney Plus numbers make this so much more confusing to talk about. But this is a British cultural show. This is a cornerstone of British pop culture. So it's important.
You have to remember, whatever we give Disney Plus, it's going to be in minutes viewed. They're not going to give us actual viewers.
That's true.
This is at least viewers.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to give viewers. And at the same time, the ratings, the minutes viewed for all the Disney Plus stuff lately have been in the shitter.
Absolutely.
As much as everybody's enjoying X-Men 97, according to what I've heard, the numbers are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers are in the dumpster.
Well, they're not showing up on Nielsen, so
or Samba. Nothing's tracking at all.
So which is a bad side effect to everything going on. Whenever there is something good, it's just so much bad that no one's giving it a chance. Like a lot of movies these days are having that problem. Like Gentlemanly Warfare, I think was a really fun movie.
We're going to talk about movies in a second. We got a little box office news to talk about after this, to kind of lead into what we're going on with other stuff here. I don't want to say it's a shame, but it's just like you said, it's a fact of the moment. Everything is so bad, people aren't going to waste their time. And at the same time, Disney Plus, even though, as we're going to mention later, they eked out a profit, but they had to do some serious robbing Peter to pay Paul to get that skin, like this thin skin.
Well, and it's still not true
profit.
too, because they're starting to give away accounts as well, and they're getting ready for a Max Disney Plus bundle. Verizon's doing another big push.
And I mentioned about a week ago, they're trying to work out a deal with Kroger to get anybody who owns the Kroger app gets Disney Plus.
They're giving it away for free, basically.
They're
Just
trying to fluff
get up
those
their
numbers.
I don't know why Max is doing this bundle. I get the
weird.
Hulu stuff from back in the day before, Disney owned it and completely. I get why Hulu did the bundle because they aren't doing great. But Max is the biggest independent non-Netflix one that is doing well. Max is doing very well for itself.
I said it goes Netflix, Amazon, Max. They're the winners of the streaming wars. Because
and Amazon only because it has the backing of
because
Amazon
they could take the laws, and Max has the shows people are actually watching. So we'll talk about that when we talk about Disney later on, because that's a weird one. But here you go. We're never going to get the truth of the Disney Doctor Who numbers, and they released it before England got it, and it's a Disney product. Jed, at one point in Space Babies from the Hovering Planet, it's freaking Coruscant.
Is it really?
I swear to God, it was Coruscant.
You think there's going to be a crossover episode at some point?
Well, they did say they're going to. They did try to say Star Trek is real in the Doctor Who universe. He says, "Oh, we're going to go visit them one day." She goes, "Oh my God, we're beamed up like Star Trek." Oh, we'll go visit them one day.
They don't have the rights to do that. They have the rights to do Star Wars, though. So,
but
Doctor Who be used to cross over all three?
Listen, they can go visit Captain Mikey Burnham Kurtzman Trek for go ahead and visit that. That thing's dog shit. But it's ridiculous. It's stupid. But I swear to God, it was Coruscant. It was Coruscant. I swear to God. I can't seem to find that fraction of a second in the movie, in the file yet. I'm going to get it. I will show it. I'll send it to you. I swear to God, it's Coruscant. But this thing is done already. It's cooked. But I'm still going to review it for 6 weeks because I promised I would. And also, it's cathartic for Dermy and I. We have to do it. We have to shit on it. And we do it because we make the deal. The chat, you don't have to. Doctor Who is dead. R.I.P. Doctor Who. And it's never coming back. And Ncuti Gatwa is terrible. And Jed, he's crying all the time. Every other scene, you see the tear stain running down his cheek. It's ridiculous. Anyway, enough of that. All right, so we mentioned box office. Let's go into that real quick, because then we'll talk about the Disney stuff. It kind of leads into that and why everything's bad. So I haven't been to the movies. I'm not going to go to the movies. And have you guys seen Fall Guys? You see Fall Guys?
No.
Well, apparently people are enjoying it, but it's doing shit.
Yeah.
It's the Fall Guy, not Fall Guys, the Fall Guy. Sorry. Fall Guys is the video game. The Fall Guy on a budget.
This is first week or second week?
This is second week now.
Okay.
We're 2 weeks in. So it's 125 million budget, which means roughly somewhere between 350, 400 million for a break even. People are enjoying this movie, but at 103 worldwide, this thing ain't hitting that, is it? It's a shame because people are enjoying it, and it's ostensibly a normal movie. It's all it is, normal movie. And that's the state of things, because there's nothing exciting out there. And I'm only bringing this up because we talked about this months ago. We said we did our forecast of all the upcoming movies, most of them Disney, when we were talking about it. Are any of these things going to make money? We didn't talk about The Fall Guy because that thing had been delayed a lot, so we had no idea what was coming out. But it's just a symptom. People aren't interested in going to the movies at large anymore. I mean, Jed, you only go when a group calls you to go, right, these days, right?
Not always. I still do enjoy going to the theater. The theater experience is something I very much enjoy. And so for Ungentlemanly Warfare, I just went with Rachel because I wanted to. I got people to come with me, so I made the group to go.
You still made the group. You still made the group.
True.
I don't have the urge to go see anything. Dre, do you have the urge to go see anything in the theater?
What year is it? 2024?
Still, yeah. Your mic's a little mic's a little hot.
The last movie I wanted to see was Godzilla -1. That's the last movie I wanted to see in theaters.
That's what everybody says. That's when I asked that question on Friday on Ballbusters. Everybody said, "Well, Godzilla -1 is the last thing I really wanted to see," and I said, "Okay,
Yeah."
All right,
Like I saw
Godzilla.
Godzilla. I saw Godzilla
movie?
versus Kong. I mean, the new one, New Empire, and I enjoyed myself. But I was more out of obligation to go see it instead of being like, "Oh man, I can't wait," you know. But that was that's the only movie I've seen in theaters this year. Was
I haven't.
New Empire.
Last movie I went to see in the theater was Mario. That's the last movie I went to see in the theater. And that was both it was combination obligation because of the channel, and I was interested in it for nostalgia sake. But I haven't seen anything else. I've seen things, but I haven't been to the theater to see it, mostly out of obligation. I haven't been excited to see anything. And among everything that was coming out, we said on this channel that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, this wasn't going to move the needle.
Oh, God, no.
It wasn't. And
Not for me.
The budget isn't here. Here's the budget. $160 million.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
Not terrible, but it still needs about 350 to break even, 400 to break even.
Well, these movies haven't really moved the needle in a while. I actually just watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes last night for the first time in years, and I actually think that is a good movie. The sequels, I think, are fun but not good. Rise, I really
I'm
enjoy.
not a fan of this franchise. I wasn't even a fan of the old school one, the original.
I agree.
I haven't seen any of the old ones, but for the Planet of the Apes movies, the biggest draw, especially for the sequels, was always Andy Serkis' Caesar. That was the whole point. People liked these movies, but now this movie doesn't have that, and the person, the human that we're following in the story, isn't someone talented like Woody Harrelson. It isn't someone like James Franco. It's Ciri from The Witcher, who in a miracle performance gives a more dull performance in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes than she does in Ciri. That is an achievement of untold acting proportions. And so what is there to make people want to watch this movie? Oh, it's further in the future, so it's closer to the originals. We've already seen the originals, so what is the point?
And that's what I've heard. Everybody's breaking this down that this movie is massively boring, like we predicted it would be. We predicted on this show, we said this movie was going to be nothing, and it turns out to be nothing. Now they're hailing this $56 million opening weekend. All I see is domestic. I'm going to refresh it right now. No worldwide at the moment. Let's go
56 is not good enough for him.
No, I mean, that's really low, and it's not coming. I mean, it should be released worldwide. Look at that. It's actually been out worldwide for a few days. We got no global box office.
Yeah, that's
for
odd.
half these things. Now, point is,
it should do better overseas though. Like these types of mindless.
I'm inclined to agree with that as well.
Like Fast and Furious, Godzilla, those movies usually do better overseas because they don't need translation.
Is not going to make Disney money, and that's where I'm going with this. This is a Disney movie. They acquired the rights when they spent $72 billion to buy Fox Studios and then destroy it.
Wait a minute, this is Disney?
Yes. Because they own Fox.
Disney's doing a lot of weird movies this year because of their purchase. Like they're doing Alien Romulus. Disney's doing an Alien movie this year. That is just wrong on so many levels. But that comes out in August or September.
Yeah. So, but that's my point. This movie may barely break even, if at all. It's another loss for Disney. Their plan has collapsed because, as we said, this movie was never gonna move the needle. It was never gonna do anything good, and that leads us to our first major topic of today. This was a really, really bad week for Disney. They had another investors call similar to the one that they did when the proxy war ended in April. Only this time, hang on, let me get one more thing up here. I forgot to get the stock there. Only this time, it was even worse. Because during the investor call, they tried to put on the fluff that everything was going to be okay. That now Bob Iger and his team were firmly in place. We're going to do all this great stuff. We're going to make sure that we put out quality. We're going to do this, that. And here we are. As soon as the investor call happens and they admit that they're only going to make sequels now. They're only going to continue franchises. We're gonna decrease our output on Marvel, this and that. They make all kinds of shit promise. It plunged. The stock plunged to $75. Now it has apparently recovered, I guess. But here we go. This was the call. It was $129 a share when the call happened this week. At 5 p.m. and then boom, literally a half an hour later, it dropped.
What the hell?
It plummeted. Now, it was 75. Why is it saying 105? It was 75. That's weird. It was 75.
There's a lot weird going on with that.
It said 75. I have the video evidence to prove it on my video. It says, why is it saying 105? Ooh, I smell shenanigans. I'm calling shenanigans.
It won't be the first time.
If you look at today or whatever, mine's saying they're predicting a spike. Yeah, yours says it too. They're predicting a spike at 510. That's weird.
But it was 75. It wasn't 105. It was 7. It's not even look,
Wait a minute. It's Sunday, right? That's
futures. You're talking futures here.
Yeah, this is all.
But what I'm saying is when it happened, it said 75 on that day. I made the video. I showed this exact screen. And it was a drop to 75. Why is it saying 105 now? I'm confused. This is odd. This is not what I was ready for. But either way, they lost billions of dollars. They lost confidence. And let's look at the forecast. What do we got left on the year from Disney? Inside Out 2? Yeah, that's going to make a lot of money. That's going to make a whole lot of money. You got the people behind it saying, we should follow this character through her entire life. Yeah, good luck with that. No one cares. What's going on? Let's see. July, August. Oh, a little movie called Deadpool and Wolverine. Anomaly. If it makes any money, anomaly. And if you go by the previous evidence of the Deadpool movies, it could make upwards of $700 million, $800 million, maybe break $800 million. We need to see what the budget is now. We still don't know what the budget is on Deadpool and Wolverine last I checked. If that thing is 250 north, 300, they need $900 million to break even. So
does anyone know what the age rating for that film is? Because I've not heard anything.
No, it's R. No, it's R.
Oh.
It's definitely.
It's been R for a long. No, it's always been R. It's always been R.
Oh, I've not heard anything. I was thinking there's no way they're going to let that be rated at 15.
No, it's R rated. The trailer was full of F-bombs.
I'm seeing it's at this point rated to be around 250.
So, all right, minimum 250 then. Minimum 250. So that means
whoa. That's just going to be $250 million?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This website is predicting it's going to get 735 opening weekend. What the
What?
That's impossible. That's impossible. Nothing gets that much money in a weekend.
In a weekend? Is everybody going on Earth?
That requires everybody to go to every single theater around the world in a 3-day period. That's not happening. No, this movie will do well. I think people are going to enjoy it, but it's going to make...
Well, you don't look at Substack.
It's barely going to make any money. It's not going to make $1 billion. I'm still saying that. Deadpool doesn't make $1 billion. So you got that.
Mm-hmm.
Then what else do you have?
Nothing.
Can we name anything of note from Disney movies?
Nope.
Oh, you think Alien Romulus is going to do $1 billion?
What the heck is even that? What is Alien Romulus?
It's a new Disney Alien movie taking place in between Alien 1 and Aliens, and it's the Dora the Explorer live action one, not the new one that just got announced, the one from like 5 years ago. She's the main character, and it's a bunch of Gen Z teenagers dealing with aliens.
What? Okay.
they're slotting it between Alien and Aliens.
Yep.
How? How does that happen?
It happens because they're idiots. That's what happens.
Wait, but
I do like they're doing a lot of practical effects. I will give them that.
Wait. All right. I've seen those movies hundreds of times. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There is no between Alien and Aliens. There was no record of xenomorph activity until, oh God, she just is.
Well, that's been undone in the past, like Alien Isolation. That a lot of people.
Nobody saw that movie, Jed.
No.
No one saw it.
Alien Isolation is the video game. That one's very popular. That game's great.
Oh, the game.
Yeah, Alien Isolation. That's it.
Oh, you know, I was
follows
thinking about Jed.
Ellen's
I was thinking
daughter.
about Covenant.
Oh,
Covenant.
Covenant is hot, steamy garbage that doesn't exist.
Covenant.
But no,
But the game-
Isolation, the video game, that follows Ellen Ripley's daughter, which I don't like her having a daughter, but that game's really good.
Oh yeah, that game is fun. I like that game. That game is fun.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm just having visions of these Gen Zs with iPhones and say, hey, look, there's a xenomorph.
How does that
Let's
work?
take a photo.
We haven't talked about Mufasa coming out too.
Oh yeah, Mufasa coming out for Christmas. Mufasa, yeah, that we haven't reached Christmas yet, so we're getting there. Yeah, so Christmas Mufasa. I got actually list here. Let me see if I got a list here.
I have a
Disney
bold prediction. Bomb.
Someone beat it.
Here are Disney movies coming out.
Dre, the link in the private chat's for you.
Uh-oh.
That's for Dre.
Okay. But here's the list. So we got in a minute, in 3 weeks, we've got Young Woman in the Sea, starring Daisy Ridley Ray.
That sounds
about
gay.
the woman who swam the English Channel. So exciting. So exciting. We got Inside Out 2. We have Deadpool Marine. Lilo and Stitch live action reboot.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. The live action thing is now dead. Moana 2. Now, I guess some people maybe want that. I don't care about Moana. We've talked Mufasa, the Lion King. This thing is a zombie already, and it's already been rejected. Now that's it. These are the Disney movies. They have 6 movies for the rest of the year.
Disney obviously forgot what happened the last time they released The Lion King right next to Sonic.
Yeah. And then we have, here's the rest here, and here's next year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're about to start shooting Fantastic Four.
It's not going to be done next year.
Oh, no, it won't be. No,
cannot believe that will come out in 25.
No. And then they're going to start shooting Mandalorian and Grogu. And I mentioned that because let's remember Disney Plus, and they still have all the crap on Disney Plus. None of it that doesn't make any money. Because Jed, what happened with the shares this week? They announced, or with the call, they announced that Disney Plus is profitable. Everybody, we made $45 million. Yeah, that was magic account.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe it for a second with their subscriber count. They're just saying, "Oh, this is how many subscribers we got this quarter. This is how much we say a subscriber costs, and add that money all together." Even though they're ignoring the fact that they gave them away.
Weird exercise like, well, when you add these 2 channels together, it was a loss. But then it was a win. You take out ESPN, and then it wasn't a loss. It was a lot of corporate speak to try and hide the fact that they're still not profitable. They're still never going to make any money on Disney Plus. It's a black hole. Everything goes in, nothing comes back out. Nobody's watching. Nobody is watching. I mean, Dre, we mentioned before, nobody, as much as you guys are enjoying X-Men 97, the ratings are terrible. Nobody's really watching it except for you enthusiastic few.
Yeah. Before I get to that, Jed, I hate you for sending me that. Let's just get that out the way.
It's not that bad.
I know garbage when I see it.
All right, now I got to see what this is.
It's the trailer for Romulus.
All right, forget that.
Yeah,
I don't care.
So, but X-Men 97, my God, like I said a couple weeks back, I have to eat crow because I was expecting the show to be absolute garbage, and it's been the best thing that Disney has produced in the last decade. It's been one of the best things they've ever made, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's not doing well.
It looks like they're setting up Onslaught for season 2
Yeah.
with the whole ripping of Wolverine's adamant, because that takes place in the moment after that happens. That's when Xavier sucks the evil out of Magneto, and it bonds with Xavier to create Onslaught. Now, I question them doing that because I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to go into the entire 90s repertoire of 90s Marvel, all those cartoons, even the Hulk cartoon. Everything, even the Fantastic Four cartoon, if they're going to make that work, because that's the only way they can make it, because you need the entire Marvel universe to be for Onslaught, because everybody was involved in that.
Yeah.
You have to have
what I'm
Richards.
assuming,
you need Franklin Richards.
Yes, you do.
For that.
So what I'm assuming is that they're using X-Men 97 as a jump-off point to bring back all the other shows, because we had Spider-Man featured in the previous episode, and
really.
Spider-Man.
It was cameos. They showed a lot of
cameos.
people.
Spider-Man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Spider-Man cameoed in the 8th episode. And Captain America.
I
was
read that with Rogue.
With Rogue. Yeah, so I'm like, things are being set up And there's already rumors that they're gonna bring back the Spider-Man show, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna jump off Fantastic Four. Like if they're gonna keep up the quality of work that they're doing now, I'd love to keep
Change
watching.
the
But
animation. Just change the animation.
Adam, I think for the sake of cost, I don't think the animation's going to change. I think like the action sequences are very good, but I think that like I've said in the first episode, they cut corners when it comes to them doing a front view shot talking and just having their mouths kind of move, kind of like the anime type thing to save money, which I get. But but as far as the show is concerned, the show is actually good.
That's what I hear.
I am stunned week after week when I'm like, is this the time when they finally sodomize me? Like, is this the time?
Y'all want to go.
Yeah, and the lube hasn't come yet. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're good. And now we're going to this finale, which is definitely going to be setting up either Onslaught, and then there might be like trying to build up Omega Red in the future and stuff like all this cool stuff that could be potentially on the horizon. However, nobody's watching because the brand is broken.
Because nobody watches Disney Plus. It's not so much the brand is broken, but nobody Disney Plus. And let's be honest, not everybody really does talk to Mr. Jack Sparrow. No. It's not only some few of us really consistently do that, and even then, I don't always do it. I don't do it for a lot of things. Very selective when I contact Mr. Jack Sparrow. But that's the thing. Nobody's watching it. And listen, I said this last week. I'm saying again. I took down my attacks on Bo DeMeo. I took those videos down. I took them down because they're irrelevant. I was wrong. Now, he shouldn't have shot his mouth off.
Agreed.
He should just shut up and made his video. I mean, made his show.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have had anything.
Let his content speak for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here we are. It is spoken for itself. For those who are true fans and enjoying it, it is being praised. And they got their second season. It's happening. And so, but nobody's watching it. Because nobody watches it.
And it's so unfortunate. And see, Adam, this is the part that makes it even more unfortunate because of how dead the brand is, how dead Disney Plus is, and all that stuff. The fact that this show ultimately is going to flop when it comes to the numbers, that's not going to give the opportunity for more cool, creative things to come. That gives opportunities for more garbage to be shipped out. Because these executives and all these other naysayers, all these crazy people are like, oh, well, we did something good. Nobody showed up. So let's continue to pump out hot garbage. And see, that's the bad part about all this. Now, granted, they brought this on themselves.
Yeah.
Because you've destroyed your brand. You've alienated 100% of your viewer base. But that's how it happens. You ruined yourself. And now you finally made something good, and it's not going to help you. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. And I feel bad for the people who've made a good job doing this. And I will say, even though it's not doing poorly, at least you guys who are enjoying it are going to get a second season. You'll get another one. Now, what happens after that, I have no idea. But it's just a lesson. This is what happens when two things occur. One, when your creators shoot their mouths off. You piss a certain amount of people off. And some people probably didn't watch it because they had the same reaction I did with Bo DeMeo's comments. And they said, screw you, I'm not even giving you a chance. Then at the same time, same people who are connected to people who are not going to give it a chance, they're not going to give it a chance in the first place because what you said, what the chat is saying, what we're saying, Disney is not to be trusted. We are not even going to watch it at all. So we're not even tuning in, period. We don't care what all y'all saying. We're not even giving this the time of day because Disney has alienated all of us in favor of a bunch of circle jerking weirdos on X Twitter who care about their pronouns, who want to cry and vomit and scream when they see something that makes them excited and they have to touch themselves.
And aren't watching the show.
You notice something, Dre, on the Twitters. The people who are hailing this show are you and others like you who are comic fans, who are X-Men fans, talking about it. The Disney shills who at this very moment, because I'm trying to get blocked by a couple of them again, are touching themselves constantly with multiple fingers over everything Disney Star Wars.
And vomiting while they do it.
Oh
vomiting,
God.
and vomiting and crying.
That's something
and
they
screaming.
say a lot, Dre, is that,
Oh,
oh my
that's
God, I
right,
love
they
it,
do
I'm
say that.
vomiting.
Yeah, the
I
crying
quoted
and
one.
vomiting.
I simply just quote tweeted one the other day saying, "Why do they always say this?"
It's so weird.
I'm very confused. Is that joy or I
We
don't?
think so.
That's
So
why they're
no,
portraying
tears and
it.
it's
vomiting.
shot. It's I don't know because it's something that touches them so deeply, and it both makes them happy and sad that they have to cry, vomit, and scream. Maybe not even in that order.
Take it from somebody who has IBS. Vomiting is not great. I don't understand.
No. But that's the thing, though. These people who are constantly praising Disney or everything, who yell at us as haters, who say, "Oh, we have to support Disney," they're silent on this. I don't see these people who are the giant Disney shills for everything else. The one thing that is being positively embraced by real fans, they're quiet on it.
Well, that's the case in everything, not just with Disney stands. Whenever anything's good, these stands just go silent. It's so weird. Like they just can't agree with the fans no matter what. So the real people.
And that's where we are. We are gone. And when those people are not praising it, that's who they bent the knee to. And they're not showing up. So this is why Disney is failing completely. They're going to fail. They're going to lose money. We are halfway through May, just about. Kathleen Kennedy, no contract extension. She has not extended her contract, and she could do it anytime she wants. She's going to walk out in December. Not fired, just walk, which means they're going to put a patsy in place. And within 2 years, when all the failures of Disney Star Wars, Disney Lucasfilm come to bear, they're going to sell Lucasfilm. Kevin Feige sent out a talking head, one of the talking heads, to admit this week that the MCU, we did things kind of wrong. Sorry.
It's not what he's saying. Did you read the quote? It's so bad.
I did. It's to parse it really. We're admitting wrong without admitting we're wrong.
Yeah. They're admitting wrong without doing because the quote was something like, "I'm totally fine with the MCU being the underdog again. I really enjoy being able to surprise people with engaging stories that they're not expecting." It's like
we did bad.
Terrible.
We like it that we did bad. It's great because we're gonna have a big comeback. But they are. It's more corporate speak. It's dancing around the truth. They're just they're not being genuine. It's all disingenuous, and it's all lying, and it's all protecting their own asses because they've destroyed a company that had many a golden goose with golden eggs, and they destroyed every one of them. So the MCU, this is the sign. It really is on the way out. That they have to make some sort of weird statement like this, but we called it a long time ago. Rest of Disney branches, Pixar. Good luck with Inside Out. We've mentioned that already. And then there's not another Pixar movie coming out. After Inside Out, we just looked 2 years. There is not another Pixar movie scheduled. Yeah, they have Toy Story 5 coming out, but that's not actually on a release schedule right now. They got nothing. Okay, Disney, the live action shit. We talk about it all the time. Failure. Mufasa, the Lion King. A live action Lilo Stitch. Next year, The Glory. That will be Rachel Zegler's Snow White.
Do you think it'll ever actually
Is that still coming out?
Yeah.
They don't have a prayer making money on any of these live action movies because that is come and gone. We talked about it last time. We mentioned Mufasa Lion King, where the first version, the live action reboot of Lion King, that happened to make $1.7 billion when Disney was literally at its peak and nobody had rejected them yet. Disney's been rejected. These live action monstrosities, they will no longer make money. We have the current evidence from last year with Little Mermaid, Haunted Mansion. It's over. It's done. Burning. And we can't not mention the hotels. Galactic Star Cruiser lost $1 billion last year. The hotels in general are not doing well, and they're mired in controversy where they're inserting the gender agenda into it all the time. And the parks ain't doing so great. There's a lot of kerfuffle over the reinvented Splash Mountain to Tiana's Bayou
And I've actually seen it in person. It looks awful. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
But it's just the American stuff that Disney parks aren't doing great because they're not being inventive. I don't know if you guys have seen recently the Frozen ride stuff out of Disney Japan. Have you guys seen that? They're doing some incredibly inventive animatronics / projection effects. Like there's this really great effect of, at the end of the movie, Anna unfreezes from the ice, turns human again. They do that practically with
Oh, is that clip I saw yesterday?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It must have been. That thing just looks incredible. I don't like Frozen whatsoever, but
it's a horrible
at least
movie.
Disney Japan is still being inventive. There are still talented creators or imaginatives or whatever Disney calls them out there. Imagineers. They just refuse to apply that same type of skill and hiring practices in the American parks. And so they're failing.
Yeah, but they're failing. Foot traffic is down. People are, and it's too expensive now too. We heard when we went over, I don't think was it on the show or did I do it on Mellow Mondays? We talked about the Evil Queen man. And
it was here.
Okay. And in that article, the father in that article mentioned that he spent $5,000 on that family trip. $5,000. That's insane. That's nuts. That's not right.
Did you say Evil Queen man?
Yeah.
You weren't here.
Oh, yeah. That was
trans evil queen at Disney.
Yeah. That was when you have your teeth pulled. Yeah. There was an incident in a restaurant at a Disney Resort hotel where they had people cosplaying the characters. You get, of
course,
interactive stuff and
and it wasn't even like sort of convincing evil queen. Like I would pass better as the evil queen than the actor that they had.
The whole thing was they went up there and it was a dude, and the father pushed back and basically got talked down to by the manager, admitting that it was them, it was agenda, and how she was so proud and happy to be, and by she the dude, they're calling
the dude, yeah.
So excited to be the evil queen, and it was agenda driven.
So somebody's daddy spent unseen thousands of dollars to come to this Disney park, and there was some dude with a penis that's in a dress cosplaying,
bigger than him, taller than him.
Oh,
okay.
Dude was giant.
Dude said he was. We were trying to make the commentary. Are they standing on anything? No. The dude said, "I'm 5'11". This dude was standing a head taller than me.
Okay, so let's just say a 6'5" He-Man, She-Man wearing the Evil Queen outfit,
makeup and all.
Okay, and so the dad was like, "Hey, what the heck's going on?" Because most people aren't aware of all this craziness because they're living their lives like normal people.
Yeah.
Saw some dude in a dress being the evil queen, and he had some questions.
Yes. They asked for the manager, and the mom was a good mom, made sure the kids were moved away so that the dad could talk with the manager himself. And the manager kept dodging and eventually started to push agenda shit. And
the manager refused to answer the question. Like, is that a biological man? I'm not at liberty to say that.
And then tried to shame him.
Oh, then shame the paying customer that spent thousands of dollars to take his family to your crappy park where there's a turkey leg that cost about $80 and there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
Right? Am I getting it right?
Yes. So that's what they're doing. We've talked about, they're alienating everybody that matters, the public that has the expendable cash.
The paying customer. Oh God, Disney, your main customer are parents. That is I don't understand. If I was the manager in that situation, I would have just calmly explained to the gentleman, like, "Hey, look."
Oh, it was a woman manager too, by the way.
Oh, okay. Now,
yeah.
So I would still try to explain, like, "Hey, look, there's some freak mess going on out here, and we have to just lay down all the inclusive diversity nonsense and just tell them calmly, like, hey, this is some freak mess that we're doing now, and this is just how we're doing things to be inclusive." I'm sure the dad would be like, "That sounds dumb." Just agree and be like, "Yeah, it's different, but please stay with the park. Matter of fact, here's a gift card. Just go and frolic in the street. See, I used to work in customer service, so I'm like, I do stuff that when something happens that's outside of the customer's control, and to say the least, that's out of their control. Do something that makes them feel good and comfortable, so that they can go out and spend more money. Why alienate someone that's willing to fork out thousands of dollars? Why do that? What's wrong with people? Am I retarded? Did I
No,
miss
you're
something?
normal. You're normal. These people are retarded. Their ideology is their religion, and they worship at its altar. That's what it is. It's replaced everything meaningful in their life. It's just the truth.
And
the
like
normal people are saying, we've had enough.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree more. I'm just like, yo, what? Like, why make it your business to alienate a paying customer that's in your park? I can understand yelling at me. That's fine, because I'm never going back to a Disney park ever again. But somebody that's in your park with a whole family, now you have alienated somebody that was willing to pay money.
Yeah.
It's
And they've already and this is, and he said this is somebody who said he's paid tens of thousands of dollars over the years for his family to go there. Well, they probably just lost that family's willingness
that patronage
to
is
spend their money
gone
forever. Yeah. You're right. They're no longer going to patronize that at all. So Disney is it's only going to get worse. There is not a single solitary avenue of wealth to fill their coffers right now. We've listed them all. And you could say, oh, the gaming. No. Gaming is for the gaming companies. They say it's a licensing fee. That's pittance. Nothing. So that's that. We'll see how that breaks down. I will hopefully figure out what's going on with that stock, because it says 75. I swear to all the gods in heaven and earth and hell that there was 75 on that stock market thing. But we talk about what is Disney doing. What are a lot of these companies, these corporations now, because they're not just studios, they're corporations. The decision making boggles my mind. Warner Brothers Discovery has IPs under their belt that would just print them money, that would have us going, yes, take it, take all the money in my pocket for this or that. Among them, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, DC. We'll start with that one real quick. I don't want to spend too long on it because I don't think we can, but because Dre is here and he can be the best person to, I think, give us an opinion on this. You're James Gunn. You release your first image of Superman Legacy suit, and this is what you give us.
I had so many questions when I saw this drop.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I thought it was AI at first.
Everybody
had
did.
to be fake.
The background is he's real and the chair is real. That's it. The rest
my
of that's
question was, why would you display Superman in this way?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question. Putting on his boots while the city is being nuked. What are we doing?
It's how casual he is. Like even his expression isn't worried. It's just like, yep, okay.
There have been a lot of great memes about this. I mean,
there's an Armageddon cannon being fired as we speak.
One of my favorite ones. One of my favorite memes is it's Pink Godzilla, and then they have Goku countering with the Kamehameha blast.
Oh,
that's one of my favorite ones.
Ooh, that's a good one.
There's some really good ones, but even just him himself. Taking the background out of it, there's a lot wrong with it. Like, look at the suit. It fits so poorly. They said he'd bulk up for the role. It doesn't look like he has.
Apparently he has, though. I've seen some pictures. Dude, apparently.
So my problem primarily is with the shoulders and the neck. That's my issue primarily.
It's the new 52 deck.
Yeah, and I hate, allow me to repeat myself, I hate the new 52 run. One of the worst runs in the history of comics. Put that on my headstone. I hate new 52. I don't care what anybody says. That run was trash. Trash. Except the Batgirl run. That was decent. The rest of it, garbage. Especially the Superman run. Superman run made me want to vomit twice. And I'm not talking about crying and vomiting like the rest of those psychopaths. I'm talking about real vomit. From the soul. So like so the costume, I have a problem with the shoulders and the neck. I have a really big problem with that.
I have a problem with the Kingdom Come S. I have a
Hey,
problem with that.
whoa, I like the Kingdom Come S. So
I
I'm
don't
a
think
fan
it's appropriate
of
here.
Kingdom Come S.
I don't think it's
out of
appropriate here.
place. I hate the
That's my
Agreed.
point.
symbol.
I'll agree with that on
I'm not
Jet.
saying
I
it's
agree with
bad.
that. It's out of
I'm
place.
saying it's inappropriate. For
I'll
this
agree with that.
Superman. That's what
I'll
I'm
agree.
saying. Yeah.
I'll agree. I agree. I like the boots.
There's
The cape.
trunks are there.
Yep,
The trunks are
trunks
there.
and the cape length, good. But them shoulders and that neck.
And it looks muted. And why is it battle damage?
I don't
Why
know.
is our first shot battle damage Superman? I said this on Monday when I talked about it was Devil and Samuel. This should be your first shot of your new Superman. Should be Superman looking triumphant, Superman looking looking powerful, looking.
Even Zack Snyder got that right.
Yeah, and so
It
this is
looks
not
like-
how you start this. Go ahead.
It looks like Henry Cavill's costume a little bit. I don't know.
What's
if
the
lighting-
texture? It's the same texture.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We don't know if it's going to be that muted because it is a really poorly lit shot. But it still doesn't matter.
Fit him.
And I have a problem with the hair curl. It's a little too far over to the side.
Oh yeah, it's way over there.
It should be more in the center. It's not right. But listen, this is not how you start your promotion for your new Superman. It has been met with near universal ridicule and mocking and memeing. It has been memed to hell and back at this point, with people doing a better job of creating the suit in this literal position than what they've given us. So that's what you have. This they have access to DC. Somebody said in the chat they've never known what to do with DC. They don't know how to handle it ever. And it's sad. So that is something that should print you money. I mean, Dre, if they gave you, and I'm not going to rehash our whole gods and monsters discussion. We have you and I have talked about it done. We've come up with a way better story idea of how they should go about it. We would hand over money for a real Superman movie, a solo Superman movie, not this is the Superman and the D list of the Justice League is what it is.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it. I was talking about this with Samuel and Devil on Monday. Yes, Hawkgirl is an A-list, but only if it's Thanagarian Hawkgirl. If this is reincarnation Hawkgirl, yeah, she's D tier.
Yeah, absolutely.
D-tier.
110%. I agree with that.
Yeah. So we don't even know if it's the Hawkgirl that would be A tier. Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho. I'm sorry, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, even played by Nathan Fillion. That ain't an A tier lantern. There's two A tier lanterns, Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. Those are correct. 18 lanterns. So you've got a D team and Superman. We got a Lex Luthor that at least does look like Lex Luthor with the shaved head, but we don't know what his thing is. Wormer is the Authority, is the villain. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
There's
it's
just
a
too
lot of
much
nonsense.
going on.
It's a lot of nonsense.
It's a James Gunn soup, and it's gonna be filled with a lot of ingredients that the flavors might not mix right, and that's the problem. He doesn't know what he's doing, so we're not excited for this. Some people are, even guys I know who are the key audience, who are more open to it than we are. Their response has been, "I guess I'm sort of intrigued." That's not the response you want.
Yeah,
it isn't.
Personally, I can care less because I don't care about Superman at all.
Well, yeah, you're not the target audience. You're not. You're not in that, and that's it. But we are the target. The rest of us are. Dre and I are the target
Oh
audience.
yeah, I get where you're all coming from. I'm just saying that. Do I care? I don't care about Superman.
Yeah. So they dropped the ball on that, and then with an inexplicable choice, they decided to announce a new Lord of the Rings movie. Now, this is, of course, Warner Brothers Discovery putting their dick on the table, saying, "Hey, Amazon, look what we can do with actual Lord of the Rings characters." I get that. But why on God's green earth are you making it a Gollum-centric movie, The Hunt for Gollum, taking from what I have been specifically explaining to me, literally a paragraph and a page from Fellowship?
I actually have an explanation, at least a theory for why.
I want to hear anything you can give me. Go.
He is the one character from the original trilogy that can still pass off in the fan beloved way, because he's a CGI creation and Andy Serkis is available to do all that. You can't have Aragorn come back because he can't look like Aragorn anymore.
But they are. They're going to bring if this is the hunt for Gollum that they're talking about, where Aragorn and Gandalf are hunting for him, you have to bring back Aragorn and Gandalf, which you have to.
I don't think they're following up the fan film where they did that.
No, they're
My
not.
understanding this was before all of that.
No, this
from Viggo Mortensen isn't coming back for this.
No, they're not. And that's part of my point. That's part of my point.
Mm-hmm.
Is if this is taken from the paragraph in the page in Fellowship of the Rings, talking about how Aragorn and Gandalf were hunting for Gollum.
I don't think it is.
They can't. You don't think it is? Everybody's saying that's what it is.
Because that's what's in the book, and there's a fan film called The Hunt for Gollum that was DMCA'd and later undone.
Yeah.
But they can't do that because without Viggo Mortensen, Ian McKellen, that's just not what it is. It has to be farther in the past.
Let's take those 2 points. If it's that one, which what a lot of people are saying it is, you made the exact point. You can't. Both Viggo Mortensen and Ian McKellen are told. Ian McKellen is 84.
He can't do it. If it were animated, that would be a different story.
No, this could be live action because they're bringing back Andy Serkis to direct and write it and star. He's going to be directing himself. I mean, Peter Jackson's just producing. They've brought back the whole Peter Jackson team, which is a plus. But you can't bring back the same flavor. Now, on Friday, Dermy said he would be happy because he'd want to see Viggo Mortensen and Ian McKellen, and we were all yelling at him saying, "Dude, they're not going to do that. They're both too old." It's been 24 years, 21 years. Sorry, 21 years. 21 years since Return of the King.
Well, since it came out, but they filmed those in the.
You know what I mean. So. It's been since the release, and they all still look good during that period of time. And Ian McKellen came back for The Hobbit, so he was still able to do it in the mid in the 22 sort of. You know what I mean? Hey, I like those movies for what they are. People shit on them so much. I enjoy them for what they are. I accept them for
Same here.
Especially after watching Phantom Menace the other night, I think I believe the Hobbit movies are better.
With all their flaws, I accept them. I enjoy them. They were made with, at least there was good intention behind it. Okay, and they did their best. I think it gets a little too unnecessary hate. That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, I agree.
But if it is that, it's not going to work. Now, if it is that, we had an argument on Friday about this. Would you still call it a prequel? Because I called it a prequel.
It's absolutely a prequel.
Yeah, because
regardless of no matter where it slots in Gollum's history, it's a prequel because he dies at the end of Return of the King. Spoiler alert! So it can't be a sequel.
And I'm not shitting on Dermy. I'm just reiterating Dermy's argument because Dermy's not here. Dermy stated that because it takes place during Fellowship, it can't be a prequel. And I said, no, Dermy, it's a prequel. And everybody else on the panel said, Dermy, it's a prequel. This counts as a prequel. Now, if we're going the way Jed thinks, which is what I was actually saying in my video report on this week, this only works as a prequel because we know, as you said, we know Gollum's fate. He melts in the fires of Mount Doom. He's dead.
Unless he survives.
No, oh God, I don't. Somehow Gollum survived. There, I said it. But if it's a prequel, I don't want to say this movie's going to be a disaster because they're putting all the right people in place to make it work. But I literally do not see the interest for this because nobody asked for this story. Nobody wants this. And as a casual Lord of the Rings fan, I'm the one you have to interest in this because I'm the one you need to capture and convince to come out. Because in the moment it happened, the hardcore fans already said no. Literally said no on social media across the board. Why do this? Some people said to make sure you maintain the rights, but Warner Brothers owns the rights, and and Embracer owns the rest of it, and they agreed to work together. So I don't understand, because if you want to make money and you want to keep embarrassing Amazon, which I still think that's a factor in this, embarrassing Amazon. If you want to make money, First Age, War of the Last Alliance, Fall of Numenor, Fall of Numenor, War of the Last Alliance. That's all right there. And between Warner Brothers and Embracer, they have all the rights. Somebody commented to me in my video that Warner Brothers doesn't necessarily have the rights for the first stage, but Embracer does. And we know last year they made a public announcement that they're working together in a shared in a shared venture, shared venture to make sure that they can put this stuff out. I mean, we would hand over money to see the wars of the first stage, where Morgoth just runs rampant over Middle Earth. We'd pay to
just
see
don't know
it.
if they can show that. That's some of the hard stuff with these types of films. Is it's so ethereal, it's so otherworldly that it just can't translate. In my, I don't think they should make any more Lord of the Rings content, in my opinion, because they don't have source material.
Then let's go back to the War of the Last Alliance, something more grounded. Then people would still handle more because I use the example of the Battle of Mustafar. Yes, it's a prequel. Yes, we know the final outcome of everything but it's a moment in history people wanted to see of the franchise. People would want to see a full movie on the War of the Last Alliance. We'd love to see that because it's a historical document of what happened in the grand lore of Lord of the Rings. It would be cool. But they didn't choose to do that. And they could between both companies. So I don't understand this in the end. Does anybody have a legitimate, real explanation for why?
Well, it's what I was going into. Nostalgia. Andy Serkis has nostalgia. That's what they're thinking, is what I'm saying.
Oh, if that's
I don't think it's a good idea, but I think that's what they're thinking.
If that's what they're thinking, then their thinking is flawed.
Did they forget about what happened with the video game, which Andy Serkis, I'm pretty sure.
No. Nobody of actual Lord of the Rings quality was involved with that company. That was not Andy Serkis. That wasn't him.
Oh, so I thought he was.
No.
All right.
Thank God.
No. The Gollum game was a thing that existed all by itself, not connected to anybody that actually owns the rights to anything Lord of the Rings.
It's a miracle they got the rights to do it in the first place.
Yeah, that thing had nothing to do. No, Andy Serkis. My question of Andy Serkis also is the fact that, listen, you don't know what you're going to get when he directs a film. I mean, that Venom movie, that last Venom movie, oof.
Yeah, he's kind of rough. He's good as a secondary director because he did a lot of the stuff on The Hobbits. He was the B team director, and so he did a lot of The Hobbit. So there is potential for some good stuff with him. But yeah, Venom, he's very hit or miss. Definitely can't control the script because he can control the script for Venom. So I think he's good from a practical standpoint. Nowhere near to the Zack Snyder level where don't let him touch the script, but if he's in charge of directing the visuals, good at his job.
Yeah.
But it's kind of that same category where you can trust him to get across to your vision, but don't let him have his own vision.
So is that the only answer we have, nostalgia bait? That's
all I can think of.
As I said, I don't think this is going to be a disaster, but I don't think this is going to make the money they think it is.
I think our better hope is War of the Rohirrim. I know people are worried about that film, but I'm looking forward to it, at least at this point.
Yeah, see, I don't care about that at all.
It's doing something unique. It's got some Lord of the Rings original people involved, and it's not a point in the timeline where it affects anything, and we don't
It's another historical documentary.
Yeah, it's a historical documentary, but it doesn't tie into anything. Like the average person going into it doesn't know how it will resolve, so it's not a normal prequel where you're just like, well, why should I care about these characters? There's not really any characters in it that we're familiar with, so we don't have to have that stakes issue. There's no stakes issue with it. It's kind of independent on its own, and I think that's the best that can be hoped for Lord of the Rings going forward is independent, small, self-contained stories that don't affect the overall. That's what I think they should do, like little stories. Like as much as the Shadow of Mordor series has a lot of lore issues, when it kept self-contained, it's really good story-wise. But then they went way too far, and it's like, oh, he's battling.
Oh, he's
Sauron.
a Nazgul. He fights Sauron.
Yeah,
but the gameplay was badass.
The gameplay was badass, but in the first one, where it's just like, at least for the majority of it, there's just a ranger dude dealing with orcs and Mordor. That is a grounded, self-contained story until they took it too far. Like something like that, I think can work very, very well. People love the world of Lord of the Rings that Peter Jackson made. If you can do that without even touching the overall story or characters, you have a chance to have something that people like. Just make it on a low budget because it's not going to be $1 billion film or anything.
Well, if they're doing Gollum, this thing's going to be CGI heavy. Because if like if nostalgia is the only answer we can give, though, this ain't looking good. This ain't looking good. All right, I got another to say on that real quick. It was from the last segment. I forgot. I almost forgot. Sam 8000 for $2. It's a shitty ripoff. Alien Isolation. Referring back to what we're talking about. Yes, Sam 8000. It's the Alien franchise is dead. Jed can attest to that. As newly apprised of how much it can be good and how much it can be bad. So there's
very little good Alien content.
Yeah, there really isn't. You have to go into comics to get more of it, is what you really got to do, because they did a lot of good comic work with Aliens and Predator. So thank you, Sammy 1000 for the $2. Sorry, I was late getting it. I jumped segments and I forgot. Anyway, all right. So we've covered the fact that all these giant corporations don't know what they're doing. They make these decisions, they make these choices that fly in the face of logic. But sometimes there is a logic behind it. It's just scummy. And it's based upon a desire to selflessly inflate numbers as opposed to actually give the customer what they deserve. Now, last week, during the height of the initial, I guess, atrocity, vandalism, attacks, destruction of the fan base of Helldivers 2, we talked about it last week when Sony announced that you had to connect the PSN network in order to access it. PC gamers gave double barrels. They said, we aren't doing this. People around the world lost access because 177 countries do not have the ability to create a PSN account, but they had already given over their money. We talked about it at the time. Dre and I, Dermy was our guest last week. We came to the conclusions that the anger was legitimate when it came to being lied to and being sold a false bill of goods and saying, you told us we didn't have to do it like this, and now you're saying we have to. If you've been upfront, would have been another thing, but now you are not being upfront. And we theorized back then this was not going to resolve itself anytime soon. Lo and behold, midnight that evening on Sunday, Sony, that was literally 11th hour right there, because at midnight, U.S. players would have had to link their PSN accounts in order to play. They reversed their decision. They said, hey, we're not going to do it. We're not going to make anybody link a PSN account to play Helldivers 2. And the internet rejoiced. Gamers said, we got one! We won! And the next day, I had to talk about it on stream Monday. I made my comments then about, okay, you got one, but my whole point was always stressing, let's remain clear-headed on this. Let's have objective conversation. Let's not get emotional. And we all agreed that let's pay attention now. Let's see what happens with the people who have been kept from purchasing the game and still playing the game. And here we are a week later, and the story's not over. Now, first of all, Jed, you were not here last week. As someone who plays Helldivers, as a representative of the Helldivers community, how did you feel overall with all of this stuff going on? As it filtered to you while you were on vacation?
Mm-hmm. It was a weird situation because I heard a lot of conflicting reports on it initially because, of course, like you said, I was traveling, so I wasn't actively looking at articles or the news or whatnot. So I had a lot of varying reports. The first report I heard is that you needed a PlayStation Plus account to play.
That was the false thing. And as good as Grums is with all he's doing for awareness stuff, he is part of that problem where he was constantly using the wrong terminology. He was saying PSN Plus, and that's making people who are maybe not aware of how it all works on PlayStation. PSN is simply the account you make to log into a PlayStation account. You don't have to. All you have to give is an email and a password. You don't have to give everything else unless you put credit card information in to buy games on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah,
PlayStation Plus is the service PlayStation uses to connect your gaming experience to the internet so you can crossplay.
Right.
Two separate things. And
very different
unfortunately, Grums muddled that, and a lot of people ran with that. And that was one of my biggest gripes during the whole point, and why people were getting unnecessarily angry and running conspiracy theories about, they're going to make you pay for it forever. One day, PlayStation may do a Games Pass type of thing, but that's a whole different situation and a whole different thing. PlayStation Plus only works if you have a PlayStation console. They can't make you do it through a PC. Now, continue.
But yeah, so when I initially heard that, I was, I was 100% with everyone who was trying to the backlash. I was 100% with the backlash when that's what I believed it was. And then I heard it was just an account, and that seemed not as big of a deal to me because, as we all know, we do this for every single game we play on PC. I've got to make a Rockstar account to play GTA on here. I've got to get an Ubisoft account to play Assassin's Creed. It's become a fact of life at this point that you need to do that. So it didn't seem initially a problem. And then I got the additional information about, I didn't know this, but the PlayStation Network isn't available in a lot of countries.
177.
That's a godless amount of countries that no longer have access to Helldivers. And that is a big problem.
We were looking at this list of countries. Some of these countries could give two shits about gaming, like Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I don't think Zimbabwe.
And there are a lot of countries that there's no gaming going on in Myanmar.
I don't know if you guys saw the map, but there is actually one person playing Helldivers in Antarctica. That person would be cut off if this had gone through. It's a really cool bit.
Kim Jong-un won't be able to play in North Korea too, because North Korea is on that list. Yeah. But the thing is about that, the whole thing is it was wrong because PlayStation didn't tell anybody. All the other games,
there's a reason why. There's a reason why I prefer retro gaming because I don't have to deal with this nonsense.
Yeah, but with
all the other companies, they say it up front.
Yeah, you're aware of before it happens. So, of course, there's that aspect of it to where they change their mind later on. And my first thought is they probably just wanted to do that to agree to their terms of service, which is the legal thing, which there is a legitimate reason for Sony to want to get you under their terms of service if there's something that they weren't aware of that changed. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that I wasn't angry at Sony at first with all that, even knowing that after finding out that it's not available in all countries. It's a complicated structure, but I do think the Helldivers devs at Arrowhead address this in a very great way. I don't know if you've heard about this, Adam, but the big cosmetic in the game is your capes, right?
Yeah, the cape thing. Yeah, they're going to get the Steam rating cape. Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to respond to it because Arrowhead has, of course, been innocent in all of this. They're not the ones mandating.
We kind of broke down. They're not as innocent. I mean, Dre was very good on telling us how the shit works. They knew this shit was coming, and they didn't soften the blow at all because this shit was in the works.
Could they have softened the blow because of NDAs or
not? I don't think NDA covered it in terms of knowing that you would have to have the account to go in. I mean, they purposefully didn't talk about it. It's like it's lie by omission is what it was, and they handled it poorly during this thing. I mean, the CEO handled poorly. The since now fired community managers, they've all been fired apparently now. Finally,
that's a good thing.
They were attacking the fan base, the customers during this whole period of time. So they're not completely innocent, but they could have done a better job because when Dre comes back, he can reconfirm because that's why he was great to have on this last week as someone who's been in the game developers room, that they know all this shit's coming. And they didn't prepare the fan base. They knew that the PC community, who wants nothing to do with consoles, were going to give backlash. So that was that. But they've done their best to try and mitigate it in the end, even though the CEO botched a couple of commentaries here and there. But they've done the best they could. And I'm not going to say my point is nobody is completely blameless on this from my perspective.
All right. Yeah, I wasn't aware of the community manager stuff.
Yeah.
But just to sum up my thoughts, I think this whole situation has been blown out of proportion. There are reasons to be upset, absolutely legitimate ones, especially not being able to, if you're in one of those countries, you lose access to a game that you're enjoying. That is a bad thing. That is a very legitimate one. But I think the backlash was way too strong. It was not as big of a deal, at least in my opinion, to what they made it out to be. Sony, of course, being stupid, being lying, but this is not to the level of censorship and other stuff.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. That people were conflating this with the Sony censorship stuff. They're two separate issues. There's no
very separate issues.
This is bad corporation not understanding that you're dealing with a new section of your player base, because Sony is a console company. They don't understand that PC gaming is entirely different culture. And to what Frank Blaskowitz saying here, no, I believe that is related to one of the community managers saying we wanted the PlayStation Network to make it easier to ban people. I think that was one of the community managers.
I did hear that as well, but I didn't have that corroborated. So yeah, I think it was blown out of proportion, but I do always love seeing companies listening to their audience, to their customers. I always love to hear that. So at the end of the day, I think this worked out very well for everyone involved, whether or not you're a Helldivers player or not, because it sets a precedence for, hey, we need to listen to our
that's
customers.
the thing. That was my point last week, that talking matters. Make our voice heard.
Absolutely.
I got criticized saying, "Oh, you're just going to talk about it? Yeah, they're not going to do anything." Well, guess what? 24 hours later, they did something. But there's the whole thing. You said you're right. People have legitimate angry reasons. They didn't want to be associated with Sony. They also didn't want Sony getting their information, because even though the PlayStation Network only requires an email and a password, then they get access to your Steam information.
That's
correct. Then that was the other people. And Sony is notoriously not hack proof. They are very easily hacked. It's kind of a regular occurrence. And people who are PC players, they didn't want that. But here we are now a week later. US players, Western players, celebrating. They're all playing. Everybody's playing right now. As from this, I think Sunday Funday is back on Helldivers 2 as we speak. That means who was a protester in all of this, when it went down, he obviously kept playing. A lot of people we know in the chat have continued to play. But here's the thing. Those 177 countries still do not have access to play or purchase the game, because now they've been locked out. At the same time, there is another thing with Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut coming to Steam as well. That has an online part to it. And Sony made a statement earlier in the week saying the base game of Ghost of Tsushima would not require a PSN account, but it would be required to play the online port. That has since become a little muddy, where people are saying they will still need the whole thing to get in the game. We have to see how that plays out. But here's the thing then. It's still not available. And a lot of people, as of, I think, Wednesday, were starting to raise their pitchforks and their torches again, saying, look, you were all lied to. You celebrated too early. We must burn it all down. And that's where I'm simply going, can we continue to have the organized, objective conversation? And Dre, this is why I'm once again glad to have you and your experience here. This tanker, this transport ship cannot be turned around as quickly, I assume, because the whole shutting it down for sales, that was a switch that can't be instantly flipped, can it? To reverse.
Exactly. It cannot be done instantaneously, because first of all, once that switch is hit, there has to be a patch that's sent to every single game at that moment in order for the game to no longer be accessed. So if that went to let's just say all the 177 countries or whatever amount of people it was, now the entire team, the whole Helldivers crew and all those people involved, Steam, they have to go and create a new patch, and now QA has to go and make a full run versus a beta and a RC pass, which is release candidate for those who aren't familiar with those terms, in order to then have that game essentially updated and reshipped to everybody of those banned countries or whatever account. So it's not just like, hey, we're not gonna do the PSN thing, everything's great. No, you have to. There's so much red tape that has to be gone through, and then submissions and all that stuff. So they jumped the gun too hard when they were going for this new PSN requirement, which is why all that stuff was shut down. Because in order to make the requirement, especially for something as vast as the PSN network, you gotta kill a lot of stuff before you get that thing back running again. So I don't know when they're gonna do the batch. I never worked for them. I wouldn't know. But those folks my heart goes out to them. Let me be clear as I can. My heart goes out to those folks that are in those other countries that are itching to play the game or was playing the game and now can't.
Yeah.
But this is on. I don't know who to blame for this. I'm not sure if it will be a
it's just
Sony
it's
thing or
incompetence.
Steam.
It's incompetence. It's Sony trying to be a greedy company and fluff their numbers, get more people on PSN, not realizing they're dealing with an entirely new gaming culture segment that they never dealt with before. And then, in order to avert the ultimate disaster and not have the 2/3 of their people be completely alienated, because remember, the PlayStation 5 install base, it's only about 75 million. PC players are 4 times that in terms of install base. So you just were about to alienate everybody. And they had to do it by midnight because that midnight was supposed to be the moment where the requirements were going to kick into place. So they already had the ability to unflip the switch on that because Static had pointed out repeatedly in these conversations we've been having over the past week or so, Arrowhead already created the switch to turn it off and make sure everybody can play crossplay together. Because Jed, you played with multiple people who are on both versions, as has everybody said.
No, I think I've only done PC people.
Okay, what I'm saying is, but the point is, everybody can play with each other, no problem, because Arrowhead had the workaround, and Sony already could flip that switch or keep that switch unflipped. They didn't have to flip that switch. But when Steam delisted everything and took it down and made it inaccessible, that was, as Dre just pointed out, that's an entirely different thing that had already, as Dre pointed out last week, these things were in the works for months. And you can't just simply turn it around. And that's why I didn't make a video on this second part of the story because, one, I'm not an outrage clickbaiter. It's not how I run this channel. I try to give you the news and give you discussion, and try and be objective, unless I'm reviewing Disney Star Wars, where then I'm going to rant and rave. You have to maintain some clarity on this and understand Sony did it bad. Keep an eye on them. Keep criticizing. Keep talking. But this is not something that was going to be completely fixed in a minute. And everybody who is raging about it, I still say you're raging for a different reason. You're raging because you have a hate boner for Sony. You're raging because you have a hate boner for consoles in general. Because you like to do the whole PC Master Race shit. I hate that, by the way. I fucking hate that. Just play your fucking games. Just play your fucking games and enjoy it. I don't care where you fucking play them. Play them. So it's a process. And we keep looking at it. We keep talking about it. Don't let it disappear. Don't let it fade. But let's keep all the facts and logic in play here. Dre gave us the facts, and I've added the logic. Let's see what happens. So is the anger legitimate? Yes. Be angry that it hasn't happened yet. Be angry enough to point out, why haven't you done this yet? But then understand how the process works and understand that Sony are retards in this.
Oh, yeah.
They're complete retards. Oh, yeah. They bundled it. Arrowhead, also retarded. If I'm Arrowhead, like we said last week, Dre, give some free shit right now.
Yeah. They've got to clean up their PR. They have to. They have to clean up the PR. Give away some free skins or a rocket launcher, whatever it is in the joint. Yeah. Just give people something.
I mean, they're still trying to do the active world stuff where 2 billion clankers need to die, get a new stratagem thing. They did that this week, and I don't know how that's going because I'm not playing. But they're still doing that kind of thing. But still, here's free shit. Here's free ammo. Here's unlimited this. Here's a free stratagem. Here's a new gun for everybody. You don't need a war bond to get it. I'm talking about it as I hope I'm getting it right. I've been listening to everybody talk about it. I hope I'm getting the terminology right here. But give the free stuff. Yep. Make them understand this is how we're going to smooth this over by acknowledging you effed up. So
agreed.
I want everybody, and I know I am not exactly reaching a lot of voices here, a lot of houses here, but be objective. I mean, Jed has hammered this into me for a couple years now. Remain objective. Remember, keep that subjectivity in check. Be objective. Don't freak out. And
just acknowledge the difference.
Yeah, acknowledge it. Talk
be
about
it.
Yeah, and if you are being a borderline hypocrite, at least say yes. I'm going to have a little bias here and there, but I'm acknowledging my bias. I've acknowledged I'm a fan of Sony, but I've criticized them over all of this, and I agree when Grum says cancel your PlayStation Plus because PlayStation Plus is a criminal. It's a criminal type of situation anyway. You should not have, if PC players don't have to pay to play online with their friends, why the hell should a PlayStation owner? The only game I can think of that doesn't require that is Final Fantasy 14, and that's because Square Enix has leverage to say, no, you're not going to kick us in the nuts and not let all our players play together. Oh, you ain't doing that. So you need a company that's powerful. Arrowhead obviously doesn't have that kind of leverage. They have to go with the flow, as they're a double A indie developer, and they need all the support Sony can give them. I preach calmness. I preach take it easy. Don't freak out. And if you want to yell at me about that, fine. I'm going to go back a week and say, looks like last time I said this, I was right. I said, keep a level head. Talk about it. Don't freak out. Don't get emotional. Don't run around yelling Sony all the time. Don't go and run around destroy capitalism. Don't run around saying that shit. Come at this with a calm perspective. Understand everything on the table and then make an informed decision. That's all I request.
And that's the kicker, informed decision. And I agree. And like what Jed was saying earlier about how like some of the outrage you didn't really get, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of it was blown out of proportion. But it comes from vitriol from the PC gaming community. It comes from vitriol of it. And yes, they made a lot of good points, but at the same time, it was just a lot of hate boner stuff. Now, granted, like Adam, you said earlier, the people were hoodwinked. Plain and simple, they were hoodwinked 100%, and it was a hoodwinking of a massive proportion because it was PSN, and it wasn't like Square Enix, or it wasn't like Rockstar or Bethesda making a BNet account or something like that. Like they are literally, it was their network that they had to connect to, which was a major problem with not just the PC community. Heck, I would have been a little upset myself if you spring that on me after I've been playing the game for a month and a half. I've been pretty upset, especially if I don't want anything to do with it, or if I don't have a PlayStation or anything like that. I'm going to be a little upset because now I feel like you're playing me for a fool. So yeah, so from that perspective, absolutely, they had every right to be upset. But at this point now that things have been walked back, everybody just needs to just take a huge step back, take a breath, and move forward.
And when I say this, when I'm talking about the Sony thing, the insult, I'm saying don't use it in relation to this incident. If you want to yell at them about censoring, celebrating other censorship, that's fine. That's being soy. That's being cucked by the agenda community online. But in this case, calling them Sony over this, it's not an appropriate insult because they're just being dumb Sony. They're being retarded Sony, where they're just bad business practices. And that's all I'm saying. That's my point. In this instance, the Sony insult is not appropriate. Come up with a different insult is all I'm saying. That I want consistency over the outrage. Be outraged over their behavior of censorship. Be outraged over their behavior of bad business practices. But those are two mutually exclusive situations, in my opinion. Neither one has anything to do with the other. And that it's Sony being stupid either way, but they are two separate things that are not connected. And don't let your rage over one, as I see it, that's the way I feel. Don't let rage over one influence how you're reacting to the other. So I'm going to say don't insult Sony. I will say fuck Sony all the time for stuff like PlayStation.
Just be more creative and more apt.
Yeah. I mean, I have got almost all my skins for Eve and Stellar Blade right now, and I know the ones that have been censored, and they're completely, it's pointless. Because I spent a couple days doing random shit off game or off camera, and I was wearing the blue bikini, and that thing it's all over the place. It's everywhere. That thing shows everything that the censored suits have censored. So it's that doesn't make sense. That's fucking stupid. Why put an
just inconsistency? Yeah.
There's 3 different suits that I have that got rid of underboob or cleavage. That doesn't make sense when you put on the blue bikini. And her tits are just there. They're basically there, and it's glorious. I want more Eve. Lots of ways. Anyway, but yeah, so I want properly directed outrage. I don't want internet outrage. And I know that's me. That's like asking the world not to turn, to not have internet outrage. The internet's going to be the internet. And I want those of us who are capable of having these conversations to maintain the conversation and understand there is a way to go about this without pitchforks and torches and being an angry mob. Anyway, all right. So that's all I gotta say. That anyway, I think we've talked that out. Anyway,
I would like to add one thing to this. So one of our favorite things to do on this show, and just in general on the channel, is just make fun of the Axis Media. Have you seen what the Axis Media Games Radar said about Helldivers this week or yesterday?
No, actually, I don't think I have.
Oh, this is glorious.
Remember, I streamed for like 5 hours last night, so I was out of it.
This doesn't really have any point in our conversations. It's just a little bit of a.
Oh, I did see this morning. This is retarded. It's not an RPG. Just because it has an experience system for levels doesn't make it an RPG.
Yeah, Games Radar it claims to be gamers in their title, and yeah, they don't know the difference between a PvE and a RPG.
I mean, I've thought about this morning. I think, okay, they probably think because it has levels and experience, it's an RPG. When it isn't. And now I would call Stellar Blade an action RPG personally, because it has a skill tree, it has experience, and it has moves and stuff like that, and it has a story. But Helldivers is not. It's a PvE experience with I want to say there is a little PvP because you can gank your friends. So you could little intentional friendly fire PvP, but there's no story to this. There's no characters to this.
There's no role playing.
There's no role playing. Although, did you see the mod? There's a Clone Wars mod now.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It can't be used publicly, at least of right now, because of the servers. So they were able to make it for themselves, but no one else can really use it. But yeah, modding really is where it's at. That's why, like, PC is just a superior console because of modding, in my opinion. If nothing else,
that's fine.
If Stellar Blade were available on PC, people would just uncensor the models. And...
dude, she'd be naked by now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no question about that. But modding is just great. Yeah, there was a Red Dead Redemption mod that just came out that is better than Starfield. They made a space game in Red Dead that looks better than Starfield.
In the Final Fantasy VII Remake PC port, the modding community increased the amount of outfits Tifa could wear, and of course they made everybody naked at one point too.
Of course. Oh, that's got to be one of the first mods available for any game is naked mods.
Yeah.
But there's just so much room for creativity with mods. You can make the game your own. There's customization, like the Doctor Who Fallout New Vegas mod is one of my favorite mods ever. That's a 40-hour game inside of New Vegas with storylines, plots, characters, functioning TARDIS, other materials like sonic screwdrivers, and it's just incredible.
I'm originally a console guy. I'm still mainly a console guy. I prefer it because sometimes it's just easier. But I wasn't always a proponent of modding. I'm like, oh, the game's fine. But then I started playing my grand strategy games, and the mods make them all the better. Or if you got an old game like Knights of the Republic 2, where they didn't put the original content back in, the extra plan and all that stuff. Modders put that back in. Modders made it look better. Modders added stuff. Modding is great. And when it comes to games that are on the PC, it does enhance it. But to me, it's another way to play the game. And if that's the option you have fun with it. I love it. And if you're on the console, it's a less expensive way to play because not all of us can get the PCs to run these games now. So because these games are getting more and more powerful and the PCs are getting more and more expensive. And it's just a way of life, and not everybody can afford it. But in the end, let's keep an eye on this. We'll come back to it next week. There'll be, I'm sure, in the next 72 hours, there'll be another page in the story, and we'll come back to it next week. On top of everything else, we'll have another take on it. And again, once more, I will just plead objectivity, calm, patience. Don't become a part of an internet mob, because while that does help bring focus, certain behavior then shows one's ignorance sometimes on reality, and then we're no better than Stance.
That, and it can be weaponized against us. I mean, it can be used as justification for the way that they treat fans. So, of course, make your voices heard, but try to do it in a mature and thoughtful manner, because we have to be better than them.
And humor. Use humor.
Humor, absolutely.
Use
Humor's the best
a lot
weapon.
of humor. Troll, roast, meme. Do it in a fun way, but do it in a good way. Don't do it in a disgusting way. Have
in
fun
an
with
educated manner.
Yeah, make it fun, because a lot of times the memes and the humor that gets the most traction when something funny when somebody makes a funny meme that hits the viral strain, boom, that makes everybody pay attention even faster because we're all laughing, because laughter brings us all together. At least I'm a firm believer in that. All right, we made it. End of the show. Let's go around the horn, Sarah farewells, and then I'm gonna go take the garbage out. That's what I'm gonna do. Hey, Jed, what do you got coming up this week?
Just regularly scheduled live streams and videos if I can find anything that I want to talk about. I just can't bring myself to talk about Doctor Who. I know it would be fantastic for my channel. I'd be getting 10,000 views on everything I did. I just don't know if I can do it. My sanity.
Well, can I have the 10,000 views you're not getting? Can I have that?
You're welcome to.
I could use that.
I did put out polls last month to say, audience, I will watch this and review if you want me to, and it was a resounding save yourself the sanity.
Wow.
You're in too much.
Your chat, I know some of my chat's in your chat too. Your chat says, oh, don't torture yourself. Adam.
I've already put in the work, though.
You
didn't do the old Doctor Who stuff. I've been doing this Doctor Who stuff for years. So I
no,
put
I'm
in my
talking
time.
across the board.
It's your time.
The board. They yell. They want me to suffer no matter what. They don't care about my health and well-being.
It's true. But I should make Doctor Who videos. I just can't bring myself to.
And that's fine. If your heart's not in it, it would show.
Exactly. Yeah, and my heart's just not in a lot of things in the pop culture sphere right now. My heart's in writing. That's what it's in right now.
Hey.
But
all right. Sorry. That's good. Listen, I'm still gonna bully you to watch at least one episode. To join me in Derby. One episode. Otherwise, Dermy's just gonna keep bitching at me. Why isn't Jed doing this? Why isn't this? I can't make him do anything. Anyway, Dre, what's going on this week?
So this week, I am officially catching up on X-Men 97 because I had a hole in my mouth. So tomorrow I'll be usually I drop on Wednesday, but I'm dropping my review for episode 9 tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the finale of X-Men 97 on Wednesday. So I'm really looking forward to that, even though nobody's watching it, but I'm really looking forward to it. But you know, it is what it is. In some shameless prostitution, as I mentioned in the offset, I'm starting a new channel called The Brute Plays. It's just going to be my gaming channel. It's going to be a whole lot of gaming essentially, and all my Pokemon stuff is going to go here, and all my other gaming stuff. So, I'll put a link in the chat for those who want to check it out.
Right.
By all means, hopefully next week I can start dropping content. But for now, I'm just getting some things set up and some other things going on. So, so that's what's going on for me this week. It's going to be very, very busy, but it should be fun. So I'm excited.
And that's the fun part. Get those games playing, and that's a good thing. Don't destroy your algorithm with a 9-hour game stream.
Yeah. God, how many times have I done that? So that was just going to be for gaming and having fun and all my Pokemon stuff. So that's going to be pretty good.
Legatus, what types of games are you planning to play on there?
Oh, so primarily it's going to be Pokemon Wi-Fi battles, and I'm going to, if I get things going, I'll be trying to do a Saturday live streams of. I'm taking your idea, Adam. I'm taking your idea, and I'll be playing Empire at War.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get there myself probably in a few weeks.
Playing some Empire at War. I started playing some this weekend, and I still got it.
Is there multiplayer on that?
I think it says the servers are still there. That's what it says. I haven't tried it, but it could be.
We might have to fight each other. We might have to do that.
That'd be dope. Look, if it don't work, let's do it. I'm with it.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Yeah, we're gonna find out. If there's multiplayer, then I will. I think I'm 99% sure we will find a way. You know what? And I'll let you be the Empire. I'll be the underdog.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anyway, that's gonna be fun. I do hope, because I did get it. I did buy it last weekend. I got it. So it's just a matter of getting around to it behind the other backlog of games that I'm currently doing. But we are going to do it. Anyway, all right. Dragon Lady, anything going on this week?
If I eventually remember, I will be posting in my review on Ford versus Ferrari, the racing biography drama starring Christian Bale and Matt Damon, and some awesome retro racing cars, which I watched the other week and really very much enjoyed it for the racing cars. I do have maybe a slight tiny interest in cars. So
lot of people like that
I
movie.
enjoyed that film.
A lot of people do. I personally have no interest, but a lot of people like that movie, and think that it's the thing that James Mangold did well. Of course, then he turned into a giant crybaby, and likes to yell at people online. Anyway, so check that out. As for myself, tonight I'm pretty much done for the evening. If I do anything, it probably will be offline. I'm taking the rest of the night off. I don't think I have time for a Stellar Blade stream this evening because I don't want to stream over Devil and get ranked. I don't like to do that. So tomorrow is Monday. Mellow Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll try to squeeze in a Stellar Blade stream before Mellow Mondays tomorrow. Tomorrow on this channel, though, you will see some edited stuff of Dermy and myself reviewing Doctor Who from yesterday. And then let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, gaming throughout the rest of the week with Stellar Blade. Wednesday, I'll try Natural 20. I'm having problem Natural 20 lately because I need specific types of articles to appear and stories to appear for me to do it. And I also need to be angry about something. So if I'm not sufficiently angry, that's kind of the point of the show. I rant at the beginning, I get angry about articles, and then we go our separate ways. So if I don't have anything that kind of goes with it, I can't do it. And you guys deserve the real show, not me just being on the air so that I'm still on the air. So we'll see what happens Wednesday with that. Rest of the week, I'm sure the internet will provide. And we will find things out, and I'll be able to make commentary here and there. And then next Friday, I'll be back on Ballbusters, 11 p.m. Eastern. And then next Saturday, Jed and I will continue celebrating real Star Wars with Saturday Night Drive-In Attack of the Clones, which I think will be a little more harsh on that than we were on Phantom Menace, because it does have a few more glaring problems. The title itself, a problem.
Yes, the title is a
it doesn't make any sense, but I still like it. Subjectively, I still like it. Objectively, we're gonna have some issues. We'll do that, and then the following weekend will be Revenge of the Sith on actual real Star Wars Day. Then
looking forward to that one.
It's gonna be fun. I have so much to say about that one. I have so much to say about all this stuff because it's Star Wars. I love talking Star Wars. And then Saturday night, I'll probably be on Saturday again, just playing Final Fantasy 14. Let's see. Oh, of course, next Saturday as well. After Drive-In, Dermy and I will be reviewing Shooty Gotwell cosplaying Doctor Who Episode 3. Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be right back here for more roundtable with whatever happens during the week. I want to thank everybody being here. Thank the panel. We love you. We appreciate you. We need your support. We are not able to do this without you. And hit that like button. Subscribe to all the channels below. And we will catch you guys next week. Until then, guys, take it easy. Have a good night or day wherever you may be.